Okay, this is just one of my random bits and pieces videos, but I thought we'd kick it off with a product review. And the product we'll be reviewing in this one is Rainbow Uni-Cones. So yeah, here we go, Rainbow Uni-Cones. How about this? I think this is an ice cream product targeted at girls of that age when ponies and unicorns are of great interest. So perhaps I'm not the demographic for this product. However, we're going to open it up and have a look. Doesn't that packaging look really fantastic? Doesn't that presentation of that product look really, really wonderful? Now, sometimes when you get packaging and the product looks as good as this on the pack shot, the reality can be a bit of a letdown. Let's have a look and see what is the case here. So just to say, I got these from Co-op. I think I paid about £2.50 for this pack of 4. So let's open it up. It's got a protective dome on there, and it's a Cornetto style. Cornetto obviously is a trademark, and this is not a Cornetto, so it's a ice cream cone packaged, ready to eat. Now here we go. How about that? So that product looks absolutely brilliant, doesn't it? It's really beautiful. And it absolutely lives up to the packaging image that's on the pack. So really pleased with that, actually. Well done, Co-op, for having honest packaging and also for having a product that looks as good as you promised it would be. So the only thing to say now is, what does it taste like? It's actually damn tasty. It's like a raspberry ripple, but with a bit more zing than your typical raspberry ripple ice cream. So really, really fruity, lovely raspberry aroma, nice little crunchy bubbles on here. I think they're like little rice balls that are covered with a sort of coating of crunchy coloured sugar. So there we go, that is Rainbow Uni-Cones from Co-op. This product gets the Atomic Shrimp seal of approval. Well done, Co-op. Okay, we've got a couple of interesting things to try out this morning. The first of them is skewered dried bean curd barbecue. The ingredients on this are soybeans, water, oil, salt, flavour enhancer, chilli, cumin powder, sesame, spices. Oh, it's got licorice, that's interesting. Acidity regulator, flavourings. Okay, so this is kind of looking like it's supposed to be a kind of satay type presentation, but for vegetarians. So this is dried bean curd jerky type of thing. It feels really firm in the packet, and I can see chili seeds in there, so that's going to be an interesting flavour. This was given to me by my sister for my birthday, so I'm going to try it out now. The other thing we've got is Taiwan Mountain Tea. Now this was a gift from a friend at work, and there's really not an awful lot on there that I can read other than Taiwan Mountain Tea. It's a vacuum pack of tea leaves, I believe, or tea buds or something like that. Anyway, we'll open that up and I'll give it what I think is the correct treatment, which is, I haven't got a teapot, so I'm going to have to make it in a jug and then strain it after it's had a chance to steep for a bit. But anyway, let's open this one up first and have a look. Okay, so I've got a plate and I've got paper towels on standby because this looks like it's pretty oily inside this packet. So let's tear it off at the tear notch there and give it a go. Okay, so there they are. Yeah, pretty oily and it's extended down the sticks. I guess that's to be expected. So yeah, it looks like meat, doesn't it? It looks like barbecue sort of satay type presentation of meat. Let's have a taste. Actually, let's have a smell first. It smells kind of caramel and malty and quite savoury. Let's have a taste. It's got quite a firm and fibrous texture. Good bit of chilli spice there. Good kick of chilli on that. A little bit dry in texture, I would say. Yeah, it's alright. I think you could probably serve that to non-vegetarians and they would assume it was some kind of meat. It's got an oddly artificial flavour to it. I don't know if that's where it's been, the way it's been packaged or preserved, or whether it's just something to do with the spice mix or just the nature of what it is. Oddly, slightly plasticky taste to it. It could be the oil they've used actually. Soybean oil, it could be the taste of the soybean oil. But yeah, that's okay. I think it needs a bit of beer or something to wash it down, to be honest. So let's move on to the Taiwan Mountain Tea. Now, interestingly, vacuum packed, and it looks like, if I'm right, oh, it looks like actually we can just maybe not. Let's just cut that off there. But it looks like, yes. Well, I like that. They've given us enough of a top there to be able to seal back up again afterwards. That's good. Let's just tip some of this out in a bowl and see what it actually looks like. So it's like little buds. So it's like little granules. So I'm going to make some of this up in, I don't have a small teapot, so I'm going to make it in this jug. And I have no idea how much to how much to put in for a cup. That seems like it might be a bit too much there. So let's go for a bit less than that. That seems like maybe it might be the right amount. It smells, it smells like kind of biscuits or something. So we'll put that in that jug. Let's go and get some hot water. Okay, so I've got the kettle here and it's just off the boil. So we don't want to put really boiling, vigorously boiling water on there. We just need to let it off the boil for a moment and then pour it on. Okay, and we'll just leave that to steep, I think, for 5 minutes. And I think we're going to find those little tea buds open up. Okay, now this is interesting because those buds have abruptly opened up. And there is still a kind of biscuity smell to it, which is interesting, like a smell of baked goods. Okay, so this has had about 5 minutes of steeping. Now let's just see what it looks like when we pour it out as a cup of tea. So quite leafy, and I think I've probably put far too many leaves in that jug there. But that's a nice looking cup of tea. It's very peculiar, almost baked goods and tea smell. Let's have a taste. That's a nice cup of tea. So yeah, that's a really nice, mellow tasting, mild and interesting cup of Taiwanese tea. And I think of the two things I've tried today, this is definitely my favourite. So here in the little copse at the back of the park, we've got some very fine hogweed specimens. Now this is not giant hogweed, this is regular hogweed, and the plant is edible. Now I only just recently discovered that the seeds are something that people eat on these, and so let's give that a try. So here we've got a seed head that's developing, and as you can see there are some little immature kind of seed capsules right there. So this plant's related to coriander and caraway and cumin and a lot of those other plants. So let's just have a close look at one of those seed pods before I go and eat it. So it's a little sort of lens shaped, well, shaped a bit like a kind of lemon seed or something really, or pumpkin seed. So let's have a little taste of that and see what this tastes like. Okay, so we've got the hogweed seed right there. Let's have a little taste. Wow, that's really interesting. It's yeah, it's kind of spicy, fruity. Really difficult to describe actually. That's a exciting and different kind of spicy taste. Kind of like a really sweet celery, or I don't know, really hard to describe actually, like an aromatic carroty sort of flavour. So that's really interesting. I think we might come back when those seeds are a little bit better developed and maybe pick some and dry them and see what that's like. I'm just thinking, I wonder if it's dry enough for us to get through the water meadow this morning. Let's give it a go. We haven't had any serious rainfall for probably several weeks, so hopefully we can get down here and get through without getting feet all wet and muddy. Come on, Eva. Quite overgrown with nettles at the top here, and I'm wearing shorts, so probably going to get stung a little bit. Yeah, still very overgrown. I don't think many people have been down here. And it is surprisingly damp still. Well, let's pick our way through and see what we can see. See if we can see anything different. Or maybe we'll just have a fresh look at something we enjoyed looking at last year. Come on, Eva, if you're going to eat grass, then you can trail behind. You can follow me then, I think. Probably better if I walk ahead here anyway, actually. There are supposedly adders in this field. Now, somebody posted a very concerned comment on one of my earlier videos about this water meadow, because there's a sign up at the gate that says beware of adders. Adders could inflict a painful bite on me and potentially a lethal bite on Eva. However, there really isn't any point living your life indoors. We need to get out and enjoy the countryside. And to be honest, adders can be found anywhere, so whilst the risk might be slightly elevated here, we could encounter them literally anywhere that I walk her. So I think the thing to do is just enjoy life and accept that nothing is completely without risk. Well, here's the thing we've got a good close look at here, which is a damselfly. Look at that. Got a nice, good view of that damselfly right there. Let's see if we can get in closer, physically closer rather than zooming. There we go. Not bad. Okay, let's head off and see what else we can find. Eva, behind me please. Eva, wait for me. Yeah, so anyway, if there are adders down here, if I walk ahead, my footsteps are likely to disturb them, and then they'll retreat into the undergrowth, and that poses a bit less risk for Eva. They're really most unlikely to bite either of us actually, unless we were to disturb them or accidentally tread right on top of them. Now I've got another damselfly here, a different species, with dark patches on the wings. I don't think it's going to let us go as close. There it is up on that sycamore there. No, it's too flighty. We're probably not going to get close to that because it's obviously seeing me moving and it's not settling for very long in any one place. Never mind, another time perhaps. Okay, so down here the path has been broadened a little bit, so I suspect probably people are coming down this way and walking through just this part of the meadow. The grasses here are already starting to go to seed, and a lot of the spring flowers are already finished. Still quite a few butterflies and day-flying moths around. And I've just seen a very large dragonfly zooming about over there. There it goes. I don't know if you'll see that on the video. Maybe we'll see more when we get down to the pond. We'll stop at the pond because I suspect we'll see some good diversity of flying insects near there. I can hear crickets in the grass here. And we've got a whole load of little brownish moths that hang out in the undergrowth and can be found resting on leaves and flitting about. Often you don't really get a very good look at them because the moment you get close they take flight and land somewhere further away from you. And I'm not going to try to catch them. I think that would be cruel and unnecessary. So I think some of these things you've just got to enjoy them from a distance, and you maybe never get a really good look at them. This is interesting. This area here used to be an area of brambles, and it was cut down last year, and now it's grown up and it's a huge stand of willow herb. Not rosebay willow herb, but some other willow herb, and it's really quite a dense stand of that plant. Now, willow herbs are quite good food plants for a lot of different moth and butterfly species when they're in their larval stage. So there are some hawk moths that survive on willow herb stems and leaves, and I'm very fond of hawk moths. They're my favourite kinds of moths. Well, it's getting warm already. It's only like 10 o'clock in the morning and the sun is getting high, and I'm already getting too hot to stay out here in the sunshine for too long, so I think we'll head for some shade. Just here we got a very magnificent standalone specimen of a thistle, and it's actually taller than I am. Oh look, what timing. So we've got a bee there feasting on the nectar on that thistle flower right there. I never get tired of watching the bees feeding on the nectar. So down at this rather murky little pond, I think we might see more wildlife here when the sun comes out. It does look like people have been throwing things in here actually and dumping stuff in the pond, which is a bit of a shame. It's full of sticks and I don't even know what that is floating in there. But I don't believe that's earth. I think that's probably a bag of something, which is a shame. But I think we won't see any dragonfly activity here until the sun comes round onto it. There are, however, plenty of gnats and mosquitoes. Let's head off before we go and get bitten. So we'll head on through the little bluebell dell. Well, there are no bluebells now. If you watched my video yesterday, you'll see I did actually collect some of the bluebell seeds from here and took them and distributed them in another woodland location that I know nearby, actually where we saw the hogweed seeds earlier. And so I'm trying to help these bluebells spread around a little bit and colonise a fairly new bit of woodland. Let's head out through the other bit of woods where we used to find the wild garlic. Again, there won't be very much sign of that now, but let's go and have a look. Now, we did look at sloes the other day as they're developing on a tree down at Manor Farm when we went moth hunting there the other day. But this is the actual sloe tree that we looked at the flowers in close detail earlier in the spring. So this is the very same tree that we saw the flowers developing on, and here are the sloes now. So you can see, compared to the mass of flowers that were actually on the tree, there are comparatively few sloes. There's still quite a good crop on here, but there are probably only about 10% as many sloes as there were blossoms, and I think that's probably normal. I think the plant probably produces an abundance of blossom early in the spring to attract the bees, but only a percentage of those flowers actually successfully get pollinated and develop fruit. But it's probably a good trade-off for the tree. Actually, it's you know, it's going to get to produce a good crop of sloes on here, so it's probably still worth the tree producing an overabundance of flowers just to ensure that it gets the pollination for the ones that it needs to. Because if you think about it, all of these trees and plants are producing huge abundance of fruit and seeds, and actually, in order to replenish the population of trees, only one of these sloes has to grow into a mature tree to replace this one tree. And so across the lifetime of this tree, it's a likelihood that that's actually what happens, that across a greater span of time, only one acorn from an oak tree develops into a new tree and fully matures. Otherwise, the population of trees would just be constantly increasing, and so all of that effort and energy that a oak tree like this one, for example, puts into producing acorns, and across the course of its lifetime, a tree like this must actually make millions of acorns, I reckon. Certainly hundreds of thousands, and only one of them statistically is going to turn into a new oak tree. And if it wasn't like that, we would have trees everywhere and we wouldn't be able to move for them. And that's just the trade-off that the tree kind of accepts, I suppose you could say, that it has to produce hundreds of thousands of seeds in its lifetime, and maybe only one or two of them will actually grow and turn into mature trees. I mean, statistically that is, of course. Some trees will be lucky and they'll be on the edge of a clearing like this, and maybe many hundreds of their acorns will grow into new trees. And then other trees that are in the middle of an established forest may spend their whole life producing seeds for none of them to actually end up becoming mature trees. So this is the patch where the wild onions were growing earlier, and I'm very surprised that it's remained bare actually. I suppose it's probably been a little bit too dry for any fast growing herbs to have sprung up here. But all you can see of the wild garlic now is a few little threads of dried stems and the occasional dry seed head here and there. The rest of the plant is just now dormant underground. It forms little bulbs, and those bulbs are waiting for next spring now. Which way should we go then, Eva? That way? Okay. Oh, it's too warm to go that way. So thanks for joining me on this little wander again this morning. I hope that was as relaxing for you to watch as it was for me to experience here firsthand. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.